When I grew up, like my parents, my family, like they were very supportive in everything that I did. And, you know, I can't say that I've had like a really hard upbringing that's like, you know, changed me to be a better person and everything like that, you know. My story is not that incredible. But what was really interesting is, you know, it was ingrained in me to be a very good sports person. And above all else, like I thought that was what was like, you know, that was the goal, not winning. And it's really interesting, like seeing that, and this is what, you know, this question's all about. For me, at one stage in my life, I see myself like of being the best sportsman person in the world, you know, like that's kind of how I interpreted the way I wanted to be. And I knew what my capabilities were. You know, I've never doubted my own like physical and you know, athletic abilities ever, because I've always been able to step up to the plate, regardless of what it is. And I have that confidence, and I know that. I don't need, you know, the media or anyone to tell me otherwise. But it was when I realized that I deserve more than just being, you know, known for being good sportsmanship, that I was like, nah, that. Like, I actually deserve that gold medal, because I know I'm capable of being the best and I can have both. And so I think it was when I started realizing like, oh, it's actually how you see yourself. And I was too much overemphasizing what was important. That's been in my, you know, life since day one, of always showing that respect, you know, being a really good sports person. And that's still with me today. But I realized that I can actually do more than just have one particular goal. And that's when I realized like, okay, no, I also want to be a champion because I freaking deserve it. And instead of handing it over to people, I'm actually going to take it for myself. And that's what I mean, because I'm always out for blood. Because that's just the type of attitude that I've wanted to adopt, where I'm saying, you know, attack, 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 because that's how it works for me. It may not work for everyone. There are some more people that are, you know, even like Shane, for example, like he's not all about attack, attack, attack. He's like, you know, let's analyze things, you know, like, and we go through it, and you think about things a little bit more. I'm like, no. Like, we got like close family friends that literally say that I am like that person that goes, ready, fire, aim, you know? And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is definitely me. But it's just the way I started to, I changed the way I see myself. And, you know, in this situation, I started being like, no, I'm a champion. I'm no longer just a good sports person. Oh, honestly, I just got sick and tired of just literally coming second. But like, I just was like, man, like I've never taken shortcuts. I think that that's the thing. And I apologize for not answering this too like clearly before, but like I have trained my whole life. Like Shane mentioned the other day, you know, okay, we never really started CrossFit when I was super young. So I had to do that volume and like get those reps in and everything like that. Like I never was, I'd do a snatch and I'd land in a lunge, you know, like I was terrible at weightlifting. So I've definitely had to put in the work to get to this point. But ever since I could remember, I was training before school, training after school, you know, like training has been a part of who I am for my whole life. And, you know, never taking shortcuts, you know, knowing that like I can apply myself and give my absolute best every single day, that's just been ingrained in me. And it's something that I've applied throughout life. But you get through life or you get to a point in life where you start to think, I'm doing all this frickin' work and it's just not happening for me. And you start thinking, well, what is it that I'm doing? So then I started breaking this down. And I started asking myself, like, okay, like I know what my why is. I know like I've got my priorities in check because I'm not taking any shortcuts. I know that, like, I trust in my team that I have around me and everything. I know what my goals are, you know, and these goals, like, you have to have like short-term goals. You also have to have like, you know, medium-term goals, and then like an ultimate goal, okay? And I think that that's really important to understand. And we were taught in that in school. Like, I remember literally, what is that thing? It's like set goal, SMART goals, that's it. You know, like you remember that and you're like, oh, wow, if only I actually like did that like throughout life. It was then starting to realize like, okay, I need to just like also start mentally seeing myself differently, and, you know, making sure that I'm understanding what it is that, you know, is holding me back. And that's what I'm kind of like, you know, trying to talk about right now. And then it gets to a point too where you're like, man, all right, enough is enough. Like, when I thought I came second for a 3rd year in a row, I wanted to freaking blow the place up. And that's probably not nice to say, but I was like, F this, and I just wanted to flip tables. Like, I just was like, I know I'm better than this. I just don't understand what's not working. And when that happened, even though I turned out to win, which was great, I realized like, okay, no. Like, I realized like I was not utilizing my mental capacity to the most potential. You know, I just was relying solely on my physical ability. And it was like when I realized like, okay, no, I need to change the way I'm thinking, because the day you change the way you think is the day that your whole future opens up. Because like, I mean, like, this is probably a bit of an exaggeration, but I really think that 90% of our success comes from like mentality. And that extra 10% is like our physical being, you know? Because I've watched you guys all move. We can all move. You guys can do what I do. You know, like, really, I know we laugh about it and everything, but if I can do it, so can you. I've just literally been doing it for the last few years, you know, and at a much higher level, you know? But that's not to say that you can't do that for the next 5 years to come, you know? It's the way you're thinking and the way you're interpreting things and starting to understand things that's going to be the one that's holding you back.
Light my way. Light's gonna light my way. No map, but I find my way. Go hard, gonna get that fame. No sleep till I celebrate.